Okay, part 3 of my fabulous equation flowchart. We have now, so we're not doing this one because we did it, and we're not doing this one, so no, it doesn't look like that, and no, it doesn't look like that. Does it look like this? Sure, why not? So we're going to have our equation look like this. We have 5x plus 3 equals 23. Okay, so yes, it looks like that. Step 1, move the constant, the plain number. Okay, this one right here, this 3. So I'm going to go, it's being added. So instead, I'm going to subtract it, minus 3, because now I have 0, which is what I want. But I have to do it to the other side too. 5x equals 20 now. Okay, so then it says step 2, remove the coefficient. That's this 5. The number that's by the variable, that's what it says. The coefficient is the number by the variable. And then we're going to multiply or divide. But since 5x really means 5 times x, I'm going to undo it by dividing by 5, because 5 divided by 5 is 1, and I just want 1x. So 5 divided by 5, 20 divided by 5, and I have x equals 4. All right, now what do we do, and that's the end of that one, but what do we do if it doesn't look like that? What do we do if it's a two-step equation and somebody gave us some fool thing like this? Oh yeah, bananas. Okay, so if I have x divided by 6 plus 2 equals 3, I can remember that dividing by 6 is the same as multiplying by 1/6. So I can rewrite it as 1/6 x plus 2 equals 3. Hey, that looks like this. I have a coefficient, I have a number being multiplied by x, I have this random constant here, and then I have what it equals, the same thing. So now I can go back to my step 1 and my step 2. I can get rid of my constant first by subtracting, because that's the opposite of adding. And then I'm going to have 1/6 x equals 1. So 1/6 of something equals 1. Now, how do I get rid of this coefficient? Remove the coefficient by multiplying or dividing. Okay, so I can either divide by 1/6, or I can multiply by the reciprocal, which is the same as dividing by 1/6. So I can, if I divide it by 1/6, that's actually the same as multiplying by 6. So I'm just going to multiply everything by 6. This gives me 1x, which is what I want, and then I get 6, which makes sense. 1/6 of 6, 1/6 of 6 is 1. Oh, okay. All right, well, what if it looks like this? What if the constant is first, and then there's a number? Then there's my coefficient with my x. Well, let's fold this guy and try it. Okay, so if my constant is first, -3 plus 5x equals 17. If you don't like that the order is like that, just switch it. Say 5x, because this is a plus 5x and it's positive 5x. I don't have to do anything to that. And this is a -3, so I can just say plus -3 equals 17. Okay, that wasn't too hard. And now I go back to move the constant. So this is adding a -3. So instead of adding a -3, I'm going to subtract a -3. Hey, what happens when we subtract a negative? It's like adding a positive, right? Okay, so this turns into 0, and now I have 5x equals 20, and then I divide by 5, and I get x equals 4. Oops, sorry. My situation is precarious. Okay, and then this other one is, oh, that's the exact same thing as this. We just did it, except it switched it around for us. Okay, it says change the minus to adding the opposite. We did that already. All right, and then we went back and did it. Okay, so this covers all the equations that you are going to get. This equation flowchart is the bomb. Okay, if extra hints, -x is really -1x. And if you have something like, that, where the 5 minus 3 and then you have a parentheses situation, change this minus sign to adding a negative. So you're going to do 5 plus -3 times the x plus 2. Because that -3 has to do the distributing. So you have to go -3 times x and -3 times 2 so that you get that. Otherwise, it gets all messed up. Okay, this is the hardest part. This one right here is where all the troubles will begin. Okay, all right, I think you're all set now. Your equation flowchart. You can follow every equation